Hey, what's up, guys? I'm BTC. Overwatch just released a brand new patch update, so I thought I would give you guys a first impressions and also talk a little bit about what some of these changes are going to do to impact the game. So there were a few bug fixes, but the bulk of the patch update was hero balance changes to McCree and Widowmaker. Specifically, both of those characters are getting nerfed. Now, for reference, this is the patch on June 14th, and the current version is 1.0.4.2. So let's get right into the patch notes here. So for McCree, the Peacekeeper alternate fire, so this is his right click. The recovery time, which is the amount of time it takes before McCree starts reloading, was decreased from 0.75 to 0.3. This is actually a buff to his reloading speed. Pretty certain this was a reverting of a previous change. I'd have to actually go back and look, but I believe one of the previous attempts to balance McCree was to nerf the speed at which he could reload after a right click. And because they're making such a huge swing to the damage of his right click, that they decided to revert that previous change. So what's going to happen is now, whenever you right click with McCree, he's going to start reloading faster. But the reason why that is because the next thing, his bullet damage was decreased from 70 to 45. And I'm pretty certain this is his right click only, not his left click. His left click was untouched. So developer comments, McCree was performing too well against all targets, making him feel like a must-pick in many situations. By reducing the damage of his alternate fire, McCree is now significantly weaker against tanks like Roadhog and Reinhardt, but still maintains his lethality against smaller targets like Tracer and Genji. So, what is this really going to change? Well, let's look at the damage that you could do. Previously, the right-click damage, if you landed all 6 shots, would be 420. And now it's going to be 270, right? So 45 times 6 is, 270. But that's not the only thing that you really need to look at. Because keep in mind, his flashbang also does 25 damage. And you can animation cancel at the very end of your right-click into a quick melee for an extra 30 damage if you're close enough to him. So let's look at the health pools here. So you start with the flashbang, right? That's 25 damage. A full right click is going to be an extra 270, so that's going to bring you up to 295. So right there, flashbang, right click, anybody who has 295 health or less is dead. Now, for characters that have more health or armor, it's going to take a little bit more. Flashbang, right click, roll, right click. So what are we looking at here? So let's look here. 25 plus 270 plus 270 plus 30. You're looking at 595 damage. So flashbang, right click, roll, right click, quick melee is 595. That's not including armor, by the way, because armor would reduce the damage that's dealt. But for a character that has no armor, you can do up to 595 damage, and that's provided you hit every single shot, which means you would have to be like point blank. So for the smaller targets, it's really not going to make any difference. For the characters that have like 250, 300, and let's say 350 or 375, if they have armor pack or something like that, it means you're going to have to land more shots. You're going to have to be closer to the target in order to get them dead with one right click. But anything 300 and more, you're probably going to have to roll right click again. So, I don't know. I don't really think it's that big of a deal. Like, it means that the targets, like the tanks, aren't going to be dead instantly, but I don't think he's going to be as weak as Blizzard is claiming him to be. I'm going to run some tests, and I'll see about it, but I don't know. I don't think he's going to be that weak. All right, so next one is Widowmaker. So Widow's Kiss, which is the alternate fire scope shot, the base damage was decreased from 15 to 12, and the scoped shot damage multiplier remains unchanged. So the headshot damage multiplier increased from 2 to 2.5, and players must now wait for the unscoping animation to completely finish before scoping. Alright, so this does a couple of things. It means that she can still one-shot headshot a bunch of people, but there's not going to be one-shot body shots anymore. So if she kills someone with low health, like a Tracer or a Zenyatta or something, it's got to be a headshot. She can't just body shot kill these people in one hit anymore. And it looks like there's not going to be much more quick scoping. So now you have to wait for the animation to completely finish before scoping. So that is definitely going to make it so that those rapid fire shots just don't happen anymore. And her last nerf is ultimate cost increased by 10%. So it's going to take her longer to get her ult. Alright, so developer comments. In the right hands, Widowmaker can often feel unstoppable even when just landing body shots instead of critical headshots. The changes to her alternate fire weaken body shot damage while leaving her headshot damage unchanged. Additionally, we felt her ultimate ability, Infra Sight, was coming up a little too frequently, especially considering its impact on the game. Her ultimate was definitely very powerful because it was constantly up. It had like some serious uptime on her ultimate there. One of the suggestions that I've heard that really isn't too bad is making it so that her infra sight is more of a pulse, so you get to see where everybody is for, a second or two, and then it's down for like 2 seconds. So it's up for a second or two, like up for 2 seconds, down for 2 seconds, up for 2 seconds, down for 2 seconds, or something like that. You know what I mean? So it's not a constant. You get to know where everybody is. This makes it so that you can't just kind of like put your crosshair on the edge of a wall and then just wait for that one person to move out because you know that they're gonna be there. So I don't know. We'll have to see. Maybe this will fix it anyway. So on to the bug fixes here. Bug fixes general improved the stability of high bandwidth option cups of games. Okay, whatever. Heroes fixed a bug that allowed Mercy to gain ultimate charge whenever damage boosting an ally who was attacking a barrier or ice wall. Okay. Fixed a bug that allowed Reaper to shadow step to unintended locations on certain maps. And for maps, the final thing, fixed an issue with collision on certain areas of Dorado, not blocking line of sight. Alright, so whatever. Alright, so McCree nerf, Widowmaker nerf, everybody knew it was coming. I think I'm going to actually go and test some of this stuff out and just see how big of an impact it really is. But thank you guys for watching. There's lots more Overwatch on the channel. Hope you enjoyed it. Share with your friends. Subscribe if you're new. Remember, always blame the controller because it's never your fault.